Hey, Jared.
Hey, Mark.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Congrats.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask you the body shots. We're out at altitude. It's like 4,200 and something feet. Was that something that you wanted to invest in early? 'Cause it seemed like that was really sapping his energy.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 6'5". I'm like 5'4". Hard to reach his face. His body's like right there. I'm like looking at his belly button. But no, yeah. I always try to dig to the body, especially against the fence like I was doing. I was just worried about the tie clinch. He was getting it, so I was like shrugging him off. But yeah, even from distance, I would jab, go to the body, and it looked like it was hurting him. And then I was coming back upstairs. I thought maybe I was going to get the finish at one point. It looked like he was really slowing down. But the guy's a veteran, man. He, by MMA math, I mean, he armbarred Georges St. Pierre in ADCC. So I have a win over Georges St. Pierre now. And which means I have a win over like all the welterweight goats, you know.
Make sure you tell Danaher that you have a win over GSP.
I was under Danaher for 9
I know,
years.
that's why.
Yeah, so he would be like, yeah, that makes sense. No, but the guy's got wins over some really good guys in the UFC. He was on a 7-fight winning streak, I believe, in the UFC. Obviously, he's gotten older. He was on a losing streak. I think his fight against Grant Dawson, he was beating him until he got knocked out literally in the last second. So this is a big win for me, I think. They were booing at me. I mean, Lee was running a lot for me. You know how the crowd is. They want to see you die in there. But big win over a veteran, and back in the win column, 4 out of 5 fights, I've won. So I think I'm doing all right now.
What are you looking at next? I know that there was some talk about Paddy Pimblett possibly.
I mean, he called me out after his last fight, I think, right, on whatever, with Karen Bryant, after his last fight. We've been calling each other out for 2 years. Nothing malicious. I really like him, actually. I think he's funny. I think he's great for the sport. He's a character, and I think, he's preaching a good message. And I think between the two of us, especially him with like his 1 million followers, we can, raise a lot of awareness for mental health. He said like his best friend had took his life. My best friend, who was actually a pro fighter, took his life a little over a year ago. But I'm affected by suicide, obviously drug addiction, all sorts of everything has plagued my life. So, yeah, I think between me and him, we could, and he's got like the whole world behind him. He's got Barstool, Dave Portnoy. He sold out America. He threw his money at Liverpool. I'm right here, Dave. I'm from Queens, New York. What the hell? You could have thrown your money at me. But, I think we could all like. I have some people behind me too, man. I have some people that would get behind us. Maybe we could create some sort of a foundation for mental health or something like that. I think would be really cool. And we can punch each other in the face at the same time, I was hoping for Madison Square Garden. I don't know, things that I've heard in the last couple of weeks, that he might not be able to make that date. Unfortunately, and I can't blame him because I've done the things that he does, gets big between camps. Nothing against that. I'm always growing in size between camps as well. So, I got nothing bad to say about the kid. I like him, and I think it would be a fun fight, and I think we can do a lot together. Let's be positive instead of negative. Like we could, instead of like slapping each other, we could like raise awareness.
Thanks, Jared.
No problem.
Yeah, right here. The broadcast seemed pretty surprised at your opponent's game plan. They were expecting a lot more takedowns in there, and even Daniel Cormier said your opponent should be able to grapple for 15 minutes straight without getting tired, but he looked visibly tired in there. Were you surprised that he wasn't shooting for the takedowns more?
No. First of all, he's tall. It's hard to get underneath me. He did have one shot where, we were against the cage, but I got out of it. But I'm no slouch on the ground either. I've never been out grappled in any fight except against Grant Dawson. And I made mistakes in that fight. I rush it, and I know what mistakes I made. I knew the mistakes that I made before I made them. I always preach, don't give up your back, and I did it in that fight, but that's what MMA is. I made a mistake, and I've learned from it. And the fight against that, I fought Joe Selecki. The kid's a black belt stud, But I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I'm 17. I'm 33 now. So, I don't know if you've seen my other fights. I beat people's asses on the ground, so I don't know.
They also seem to think that you were having trouble getting in inside his reach, because when you would try to close the distance, he would throw that knee up the middle. Was that the case, or were you just trying to figure it out in there?
I mean, I was trying to figure it out. I didn't want to get caught. He does a really good step to the side and throws his right hand. He's knocked out a couple people that knocked out Stevie Ray with it. I think he knocked out Kevin Lee with it. So, I mean, and the guy's throwing knees. So the right hand's coming, and you're coming down and low, and he's throwing that knee up the middle, which hit me a couple times. I'm in shape right now, so, I felt it. And he was throwing, the first kick he threw landed right on my liver. His toe was right on my liver. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be a fun night, but he slowed down fast. Luckily, we're in Salt Lake City. I think that might have helped me a little bit. But, dude, I'm in great shape right now. So, I mean, I knew that when I went to the body, it was going to hurt him, and it worked out.
Jared over here, just wondering, what do you think of Salt Lake City fighting, the environment? First time UFC's ever been here. What do you think?
It's beautiful. I've snowboarded here before in Park City, Utah. Beautiful state. This is my first time here in the summer. Gorgeous place, little city. I'm from New York, so I'm used to large city life. I'm used to the cold. I'm used to the grime and dirt. But yeah, beautiful city. We went hiking. We got lost for like 5 hours on Monday. I was like, what are we doing? Literally, we got lost. I'm like, why are we here right now? We walked into a trail for like 2.5 hours, and I'm like, yo, I got a fight on Saturday, and we were going up a hill with rocks. I was slipping. I almost died. My coach Jason's wearing Vans with no socks on. And it's like getting dark. And then finally someone comes and they're like, we're like, how much longer? They're like, you got like another hour and a half to get to where the lake. I'm like, we got to turn around. So we had to walk 2.5 hours out. But it was gorgeous. I love the mountains. So beautiful place.
How does it affect your fighting, or does it do anything for you? Like the elevation of Salt Lake City?
No, I don't think it did anything. I was doing sprints up high in the mountains on Monday. I swim nonstop. I slept in an altitude tent. I spent like 10 G's on an altitude chamber that goes over my bed. I slept at 10,000 feet for the last 8 weeks. I don't know if it was placebo or not. I hope it's not, because I spent 10 grand on it. But I think it worked, because in practice too, like, at first you can't tell because everyone's fresh. And then like third, fourth, fifth, sixth rounds in the gym, I'm going, and people are slowing down. And I'm like, all right, this thing works. Plus I do tons of cardio, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, right here.
My brother.
Yes. At some point, when he trying to take you down the first times, looks like you put your hand over the bed in the fence. Is that accurate or not?
Did I grab the fence?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, I did. And I got a warning. And Herb Dean was like, yo, you grabbed the fence again, I'm taking a point. And I'm like, all right, cool. I got my warning. This is MMA. He was grabbing my glove at one point, so now we're even. And that's it. It was reaction. And that's what happened, man. I wasn't trying to cheat.
Yeah.
I think I would have got up anyways, but
part of the dynamic of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just natural, man. How about that kid? He threw the flying knee on the kid on the floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it was natural.
Something else, he seems pretty tired throughout the fight, even when he was like grabbing your leg. Why you didn't finish the guy at that point?
I was punching him in the head like 20. I was just nonstop. I mean, what else could I have done? And I don't know what else I could have done. I punched him in the back of the head like 20 times. So I think Herb was about to stop it, and then he started moving. And there was 10 seconds left in the round. So, I mean, whatever. I tried. It's harder when you're in there, it's a lot harder than it looks from the outside. People are like, why didn't you just knock him out? And I'm like, well, if I could have just knocked him out every time I got in there, I would have, and I would be the best fighter in the world. But it doesn't work that way.
All right, thank you.
No problem, bro. Thank you.
Hey, Jared.
Yo.
Congrats on the win, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good to be here for that. What's next? We're looking for Madison Square Garden.
Man, I'm dying to fight there.
Maybe get some warm-ups at Renzo Gracie.
Man, I trained at Renzo's for like 9 years, four blocks away from. I used to walk past Madison Square Garden every day. I literally have shot. I used to shoot dope in a bathroom right next to Madison Square Garden consistently. Like, I would come off the subway, I would shoot some dope, and I'd go into Renzo's and I'd roll. And that's what I did, man. And that's my city.
That's why your cardio was so good.
That's it, man. A little heroin. That's what's in my water between rounds. Coach is like, yo, a little heroin? Or I'm like, not too much. I don't want to fall asleep in there. Yeah, you don't notice anything though. You're just like, yeah, I'm here fighting. And that's it. The rounds go by fast.
You just got a win over one of the great jiu-jitsu guys in Brazil. How does it feel? And besides Paddy, anyone else you have in mind?
Man, I don't look past anyone. Yeah, Paddy was on my mind because, you know, you hear him, he called me out. Okay, so now it's on my mind because but, getting ready for this fight, I'm like, all right, stop thinking about Paddy and what's in the future. I got to get past Leo Santos first, So I haven't thought about anyone else. And, I think everyone knows I'll fight anyone because I have anyone they put in front of me, I always say yes to. I've never said no. So we'll see what happens. If Paddy can't make Madison Square Garden, whatever, maybe I'll fight him. Maybe I could fight him later. He said December, I think, that he would be able to make December. I know he doesn't also want to fight New York because of taxes. And you know what? I don't either, man. I paid, how much money I paid to New York living there in my life? So, yeah, I would fight in Vegas too. I think that's what he said, right? December, Vegas. Big card, main event, or main card, whatever they call it. What do they call it? Main card, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Coach.
Flash, congrats on the big win. You just touched on going back how long you've been in MMA for. What's the secret to the success, and how do you stay relative and healthy and all that good stuff?
What's the secret to success? I don't know.
Your success.
My success? Shit. I'm just too stupid to know when to stop, I think. No, I'm joking. I just try to stay consistent and have faith and work hard, man. That's literally, I'm not tall, I'm not long, I'm not super fast. They call me Flash, I don't know why. I'm not fast, really. I just have to work really hard, and that's what I do. I don't miss practices. I don't skip, I don't cut corners. I always am open-minded. I don't say, that guy doesn't know what he's talking. I try to learn every day and be a student every day, And I try to get better at everything every day, spiritually, mentally, physically. And I watch, I look, and I listen to my coaches, and I feel better now than I ever did.
Thank you, sir. And lastly, for me, how important is it to use your platform to speak about certain topics that maybe not too many fighters want to touch on, but you're going to just go full throttle and speak about depression, anxiety, whatever issues that people have, just whether they're fighters or not?
It's the only reason, all right, so before, on my interview with MMA Junkie, I was like, I said MMA doesn't do anything for me in the long, fulfillment-wise. I love UFC. I love fighting in the UFC. I love what I've been given. I love to be able to perform for the fans. I love MMA. It's my passion. I love competing. I love training. And thank you to this whole company for everything they've given me. I make a living doing it. I'm doing well. And but it went over a lot of people's heads. I don't know. I guess they're maybe there's a bunch of kids that were responding to me on the interview. But they were like, well, why don't you just quit fighting? You can go do something else. And I'm like, I'm going to fight. I won tonight. I'm going to go home in 3 days. I'm going to say, all right, now what the fuck do I do? What do I do now? I got nothing to work towards. And then I'm going to be texting my manager, hey, get me another fight. And he's going to be like, dude, you just fought 3 days ago. Relax. We'll figure it out, It doesn't give me... That's why you see these champions, they're depressed after. These athletes, they blow all their cash. They're degenerate gamblers. They turn into drug addicts. They get depressed. They end up killing themselves. Because you can't fill the void you're looking to fill with fighting or with football or with money or cars or anything like that. So the only thing that makes me happy is helping people and raising awareness. And then when someone tells me you actually saved my life, and I have a lot of people that tell me that, that's what makes me happy forever. And I can go home and say, wow, I actually did something, I actually helped someone. So when I say that MMA doesn't do anything for me, it's just, it doesn't give me full lifetime fulfillment. And I'm sure you guys understand that, right? Or am I just demented? Okay, cool.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.